I'm Noy, and today I'm going to talk to you about the difference between overacting and underacting and why they both don't really exist. This topic came to my mind a few days ago when, in the middle of a conversation, my dad told me that actors overacted in the 1950s and prior. I asked him what he meant, and he said that actors showed too much emotion and that it took away the pleasure of watching older movies. I took in his observation and began thinking, did actors really overact back then, or was that all they knew? After a few seconds of contemplation, I quickly realized that overacting doesn't exist, and so doesn't underacting, and let me tell you what I told him. Film was birthed from capturing movement. It started with a horse galloping, and soon evolved to the movement of ballet dancers and one-minute clips of stage productions. Sooner or later, in the 1900s to 1910s, filmmakers like George Méliès started experimenting with this new art and built stage productions of their own and captured them on camera. They hired troupe actors for these performances because film actors didn't exist yet. Because there wasn't a way to sync sound in film yet, actors were required to enhance their expressions, using their arms and their whole bodies to convey a single message. The inclusion of intertitles starting in 1903 helped move a movie's plot forward by providing important context and conversational dialogue between two characters. But that didn't minimize the movements actors were making because they still weren't able to speak. A hop a skip and 2.5 decades later, Warner Brothers released The Jazz Singer, which was the first ever talkie. Al Jolson starred as a rabbi's son who wanted to leave his Orthodox Jewish household to become a jazz singer. While the movie still used intertitles for dialogue, this was the first time audiences heard someone sing on film.
Goodbye. Don't cry.
The Jazz Singer was a financial success and started the transition from silent films to talkies. If you've gotten to this point in the video, leave a comment and tell me who your favorite movie star is. Now, lots of silent film stars were unable to make this transition because studios wanted actors with nice voices to bring in audiences to theaters. So they auditioned lots and lots of wannabe actors and actresses and even pulled most of them from theatrical productions because they knew people liked their voices. Most of early Hollywood's famous names were pulled from Broadway shows. Barbara Stanwyck, who's known for playing sassy femme fatales, was pulled from the Ziegfeld Follies in the 1920s. James Cagney, who I call the 30s Jack Nicholson because of all of his gangster movies, was pulled from Broadway too. Eve Arden, dancer. Audrey Hepburn, dancer. Humphrey Bogart, Broadway baby. All of Hollywood was built on a bunch of theater kids who had nice voices and a flair for drama. Now that I've gone over that, let's answer the question you're all here for. Did people overact in early Hollywood? Nope, not at all. They just learned how to act from the stage. Film directors moved from the stage to the screen, and so did their techniques. It wasn't until much later, say the early 1950s, that actors started acting more realistically and film versus theater acting became a thing. These days, overacting or over-exaggerating a performance is used for more comedic relief purposes. Underacting, on the other hand, is the director's fault entirely. Nobody's going to bring in audiences purposefully by being boring. People don't underact because they think it's funny. If a line delivery sounds like it was directly transferred from an unenthusiastic table read, that's just a director being lazy. Also, film directors have a specific audience in mind when directing their movies. Two modern examples of directors who might overdirect or underdirect are Tarantino and Wes Anderson. Auteurs are on the opposite ends of the filmmaking spectrum in terms of how they direct their actors and how they write their movies. One is very detail-oriented, while the other is very conversation-oriented. Wes Anderson's characters sound like they're doing librarian ASMR half the time they're speaking, but they have enough emotion to keep the audience engaged. While Tarantino has his characters sound like they're presenting themselves. Their voices are projected kind of like a theatrical production, but also kind of like a debate competition, like they're trying to prove a point. You could say that the actors in Wes Anderson's movies are underacting, and you can say that the actors in Tarantino's movies are overacting. But then again, that's not a thing. It never was a thing. That's just directors pulling from their different influences, and I could go on and tell you both of their influences, But that's enough information for 5 videos, so I'll just stop here because you've probably got my point. If you have a different opinion or want to build on what I've said so far, leave a comment so we can discuss it together. Thank you so much for watching this video, and be sure to like, subscribe, and share my content. Bye!